Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. It's so early in the year, but if you've been watching the headlines lately, tragedy is all around us. And sadly, the Black gay community in America should be on alert. On Christmas Eve of 2024, Arkmayer Davis was unalived by a neighbor because of his relationship with his husband Darius Antoine Davis, who found his injured and unresponsive husband covered in blood after the attack. I usually don't cover topics like this, and there's other vloggers like Nico Aesthetics, who I think does a much better job on these topics, but I wanted to cover this story because I think we in the Black gay community don't address our collective safety nearly enough. It's so easy to go online and get a hookup, but coming together to make real safe spaces for us and secure housing is something we are still too far away from for my liking. When I've been out on dates with men, and I've only ever dated Black men, I'm very aware of other people's reactions to us, which a lot of times is astonishment, and sometimes it's hate and disdain. And when having these conversations, it seems many Black men want to avoid this topic by either not dating at all and going to gay-specific bars or hooking up at home, or acting like they don't see the stares or hear the negative comments. But I think it's time we address the violence and harassment we endure head-on in order to find solutions. Arkmayer and Darius Davis were living together in an apartment in New York when, in early December, a fire started in their apartment that burned and damaged their unit and the neighbor above them. Coincidentally, this very same neighbor, whose unit was also damaged, had been yelling homophobic insults and threats for months prior to that. When I was living with one of my exes in Texas over a decade ago, my next-door neighbor's apartment also went up in a fire, and the smoke went directly into our unit. But luckily, we weren't there when it happened and met with the firefighters when we came home. But something always in the back of my mind made me wonder if that happened because our possibly homophobic neighbors, an older married Black couple, no longer wanted to live next to us. Now, I know what you're saying. How could I know if this accident had anything to do with us? Well, even though I don't talk to people in the apartments where I stay, I can assure you that I've encountered many people who just didn't like us there and let us know in many different ways. And I think Black gay men, especially if we are low income, are very susceptible to harassment in our neighborhoods. Because of the fire, the Davis family was staying at a nearby shelter, but their homophobic neighbor, Kajan Yazar, who was also displaced by the fire, was also staying there as well. On Christmas Eve at a local laundromat, Arkmayer and Yazar got into a debate about a stolen phone, and Yazar used a knife to attack him. If you ask me, the debate about the phone was just this crazy man's way of making an excuse to attack Arkmayer, which clearly he already had a grudge with the couple. Darius Davis gave his thoughts to the media, and I agree with a lot of what he said, including the quote, "I feel like he should get the death penalty, and if not, life in prison, and without no parole. He should never have a chance to see daylight again. He should not be held or populated with anybody. He should be in a single cell by himself, isolated from everybody, so he can see how lonely it is and miserable it is to be by himself," end quote. Now, some people I know don't agree with the death penalty, but I do, especially if there is ample evidence that the accused did the crime. And in this case, there is surveillance evidence and a history of threats being made against the Davis family, so why would he get any sort of slap on the wrist? This attack reportedly happened in the Bronx, and as someone who has experienced repeated harassment and actual hate crime and violence when I'm with guys I'm dating, I think in this decade we need to be coming together to create Black and gay specific housing efforts, neighborhoods and community councils, so we can mitigate these kinds of attacks and create safer neighborhoods where racism and homophobia are less of a worry. Let's take a silent moment to grieve one of our fallen gay brethren and hold his memory in our hearts.